There we go. Hi, good morning, everyone. Like I said, we're going to be going over transactions today. So I'm going to be showing you everything to do with a listing, with a buyer, and with a rental. Where to find the documents, and most importantly, how to fill out and use the documents. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. So we're going to be in Command. Hold on, let me hide that. There we go, so I can see everything. There we go. So we're going to be in Command, and this is where you would start once you get after your listing appointment, and you get someone under contract, and they're ready to go. This is where you would start to do all those things. Even before you do a listing or a buyer or anything, you can get these documents ready to go if you know that you have an opportunity in front of you where someone might decide to sign a contract. So this is what we do first. So first thing you would have to do is create an opportunity, right? So we're going to, what type of opportunity? We're going to do listing first. The client is me. Okay. You can also put here if there's a co-seller, like such as like a spouse or anything like that, someone else that's on the deed as well. And it's going to be the opportunity name here. So this is our listing here. You can put an estimated close date, a time frame, the estimated listing price, commission, where the opportunity is as far as cultivating. Did you go on an appointment? Are they active? You know, where are you in the phase of the opportunity? Which stage are you in? Are you in nurture? You know, are you in a nurturing stage, which means, well, are you in a watch stage, which means you're just watching them, keeping track of them? Are you nurturing them, meaning are you sending them information and following up with them and things like that? Or are they hot? Are they ready to go right now? Are they ready to sign a contract? Are they ready to move forward today? So we're gonna say, so these things, hold on. These things here that don't have the red star on them are not really, you don't have to do them right away. But the commission rate has to be put in. So let's say my commission is 3%. And let's say we're active, right? We're ready to go. So we're in the staging process, right? So we'll leave that as staging. And I'll show you all the processes in a second. So we're going to create the opportunity. Now the opportunity is created. I can see this now in my pipeline. Right? Here I am because I'm active, right? So here are the different stages of the opportunity. So cultivating would mean I'm still working on them, right? I'm still going through the motions with them. I haven't gotten a listing appointment or anything like that with them. Then we have appointment. This is where I did have an appointment. Well, here, we'll do cultivate first. So this is their watch, nurture, or hot, right? So this is a watch. This is my watch list here. These are everyone. This is every listing that I'm watching currently, right? This would be my nurture phase where I'm nurturing them. I'm sending them. Well, I'm already doing that over here, but I just haven't moved. Just too many for me to move them over. Um, this is the nurture phase where you would just drag and drop and move them over and say that you're in the nurture phase. Once they're ready, let's say they call you and say, hey, would you come by for a listing agreement? Then you would move them over to hot. You know, then you would move them up to appointment. And then you can move over and say, oh, we scheduled it. Okay, now it's scheduled. We kept the appointment, right? This is going to help you keep track of your contacts and what phase of the opportunity that you're in. So once we get to active, right, we can start, we're staging the home, right? This is after the appointment. This is after we were scheduling it with them. We scheduled it. They kept the appointment. We went to the appointment. We got the listing agreement, right? So now we're active. Now we're staging the home, getting it ready for pictures and stuff. Then we're going to start showing the home. We're going to go through negotiations. And then legacy just means that your past negotiations, you're on your way out of attorney review and you're going into appraisal and things like that. Sorry, this is before that part anyway. There we go. That's better said. Then we get into your under contract. So now this is where escrow comes in. You do your inspections and appraisal, your financing, and you're clear to close. Now, during this whole thing, you're still going to be moving, right? I'm still going to be moving myself during the stages, right? So I can keep track of where I am, right? So I'm going to move me to under contract. I'm going to move me to inspections and all the way through the process, right? So that's where we're going to start. Now, we're going to get the documents that we need. So once you click on your opportunity's name, it's going to bring you to this page here, right? That shows you everything you would need to know about your listing as far as all the information that you already put in there, right? So let's go to documents. It's going to take you to this documents page. Now, under the documents page, you're going to see, right, where it says required. These are everything that you have to send into the office. So this should make life a little easier for you when you're looking for what documents you need from DocuSign, right? So you know that a CIS is required. You know that a seller's disclosure is required unless you do a seller's disclosure declination page, which I'll show you that as well. A dual agency page is required. A home warranty disclosure is required. A copy of the MLS is required. These are all required documents that you must send in with your listing in order to process your paperwork and to get your transaction started. So then we're going to go to start a transaction so we can get the documents. Does anyone have any questions so far? Am I moving at an okay pace?
Can you just go back? How did you get to the document list?
Yeah, sure. I'll go back. Hold on, because I'm already in DocuSign. This bar is always in the way. Okay, so how I got to the documents list. So I'm gonna go back to opportunities. So now we're on the opportunities page, right?
Right.
So all I did was click on where my opportunity is,
Okay.
and I clicked on my name,
Okay.
and it brings you up to. So basically, this is like your contacts page,
Okay.
right? So even if I went through my contacts, here, let's try this. If I go through my contacts and I click this person, right? All this stuff pops up, but I can see them in my pipeline. Where is it? Well, it's easier the way I did it. This is a little extra, but you get what you get the gist of it.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay. But here it is, opportunities, right? This is how you would get to it. I don't have an opportunity created for them, but if I did, everything for them would pop up here.
Okay.
So, so you can see me real fast. Because I have an opportunity, right? So you see opportunity 1,
Okay.
and then you would go here, and this would just put you right back on this page.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So then we go to documents, right? I'm going to look at everything that we possibly need here, and we're going to see all the documents that we need. Dual agency, copy of MLS, and then we're going to go to transaction. That's okay. I'll close this one. All right. So now we're on DocuSign. So DocuSign is the place you're going to come to for everything that you could possibly do as far as your your transactions go. You need DocuSign for everything. You can't do anything without it. So this is my dashboard. These are my recently viewed rooms. These are my listings, my buyers, listing here, a couple buyers here, new rooms, my signed activity. You can see everything that you've been doing right here on this one page. And then we're going to go into our rooms. So these are all the rooms that you create, right? From all your buyers, from all your clients, from everything that you do on DocuSign. It's all going to be right here for you. So we're going to go into my room here. Whenever it decides to load. There we go. So this is going to give you details about everything that you put into command about your listing, about your offer, about your contact, and everything else like that. But we don't need this page. We need this page, the documents page, right? So now I'm going to show you how to add documents. You want to go to add. You're going to go to DocuSign Forms, right? Now, the cool thing about DocuSign is it makes everything kind of easier for you to find, right? So I don't have to search through all of this to find these documents because they make it into a packet for you. So I can go to listing documents, right? And I can find exactly what I need from right here, right? So I need an informed consent to dual agency. I need a seller's disclosure statement. If the home is built before 1978, you'll need a lead paint disclosure. So let's say the home is. So we'll get a lead paint disclosure. I'll also need a CIS, right? And I'll also need a, where is it? So some of the documents you do have to go look for. So these aren't listing agreements, by the way. I didn't get a listing agreement yet, but you can find one depending on which MLS that you're going to be using. So CJMLS has its own listing agreement. GSMLS has its own listing agreement. I don't think Bright has their own listing agreement. So therefore you could use a CJMLS or GSMLS listing agreement for it, I believe. But we're going to find our, here we go, exclusive right to sell. This is what you're looking for. So we need that as well. So we're going to add selected. Here we go. Now we have all our contracts, right?
Lawrence, Nikita is asking, is there a checklist of documents?
Is there a checklist?
Is there a checklist for list of documents that
Yeah, like my question is like, because you know these are the documents required, correct? But how would we know like these are the must documents? What if they miss out? Like, is there a checklist?
Right. So there isn't a checklist. But what you can do is, and what I can do is I can make one for you guys so that you know which documents you need for everything. Or you can just follow this along and take notes as well, just so you have it for yourself. But I can also make a checklist for you guys. That's not a big deal.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool.
That would be really helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. I'll put that, I'll ask IO to put that together for me, and I'll get that emailed out to all you guys. So we'll do that. That'll make life a lot easier for you. Because I had to memorize how to figure out where all this stuff was. So let's get right into it. So we're going to start with our exclusive right to sell document. Now, this is your exclusive listing agreement, which means that your buyer, that your sellers anyway, are under contract with you, and they can't break the contract under any circumstance unless it's performance related, meaning that you're not doing a very good job and they want to drop you as their broker, as their listing agent. Typically, it doesn't really happen, but it does happen. So you just have to stay on your P's and Q's and know and do exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So let's start at the top of this. So up here, you're going to put your owner's name, right? Your seller. You're also going to put your MLS number. So typically, when you're doing this part of it, you don't have an MLS number yet, right? Because you didn't put it on the multiple listing service yet because they didn't sign this agreement. So you can't list their house until they sign this listing agreement and agree to allow you to list their home for them. Then you would put it on the market, right? So then you don't need to worry about this as of yet because you have to send the office a copy of the MLS anyway. So it doesn't matter, right? So then down here, you're going to put your the listing agent's information, right? Everything about that. You're going to put the property address. So let's say it's 123 ABC Road, right? In Princeton. right? And then you'll put all your area code, state stuff, all that stuff like that. And we're gonna sell the house for, let's say it's going for 350,000. Right? Acceptable financing terms are gonna be conventional, cash, FHA, and VA. So let's talk about that real fast. Does anyone know the difference between a conventional, an FHA, and a VA loan? It's okay if you don't.
Yeah, conventionally it requires a higher down payment. FHA are approved by Federal Housing Associations of New Jersey. They're backed by the government, so they only require 3% down payment.
Mm-hmm.
VA are just Veterans Association loans. They are backed by associations as well, so they can be as low as 0% down.
Right.
But most of they're great for the buyers, but from the listing agents, what I've seen is that many of the buyers that I'm showing houses to, that most of they are preferring conventional and cash offers, right?
Right.
Even though at the end of the day they are still getting the money from the banks and not
Right.
as long as it's not cash. But yeah, I do understand that the loans exist. However, conventional and cash offers are winning over FHA and VA all the time.
Very true. Very true. The reason why I always put conventional cash, FHA, and VA, right, is so that I don't discriminate against not only those buyers, but I can also get those buyers into my open houses and I can help them as well. So I always put all four, right? Because it also depends on what your seller wants to do. Does your seller want to accept an FHA loan that has strict home inspection requirements? Does your seller want to accept a VA loan, which also has pretty strict home inspection requirements as well? So you have to go through those and have a conversation with your sellers to ask, is it okay? Would you like to just do conventional cash, FHA, and VA, or just cash offers only, or conventional mortgages only, or just conventional and cash? Most of the time, if you explain it correctly, you'll be able to, figure out exactly what they're looking for and make sure that the closing time is going to be pretty quick. An FHA and a VA loan, closing times are a little bit further out than a conventional or a cash loan. Conventional and cash, it usually takes about 30 to 40 days to close. An FHA or VA loan is going to take you maybe closer to about 2 months, I would say, to close, just because of their strict requirements and everything they have to go through as far as approval, appraisals, home inspections, and things of that nature. Cool?
Yes.
Okay, so then we're going to put in this box, so we don't have to worry about this box here because this is pertaining to rent. We're not renting, we're selling. So your listing agreement is going to begin on today, right? And it continues until midnight of, how long do you think a listing agreement should last?
6 months.
Good
That was-
job. Absolutely. Your listing agreement should be no shorter than 6 months. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the same day. If that day isn't a weekday, then find the next weekday. But your agreement should last for at least 6 months, because you never know how long it's going to take you to sell a home. I sold a house last year. It took me 7 months, right? So we weren't under contract that last month that I sold their house, but I was still able to do so, and they still let me do it, even though our contract had expired. I'm still able to do that and not sign a recontract and not sign another contract, because we're already in a business relationship and they have the CIS, which is the consumer informed statement. So I don't need to do another contract unless there was a new listing or if I relisted their house, right? If I put their house, if I did everything all over again and I had to relist their house, take it down off the MLS, like completely delete it, not as a withdrawn, it's a canceled. right? It wouldn't be a withdrawn, it would be a canceled. So unless I have to do all that, then I don't need to redo another contract. So you want to make sure you hit these two. Owner permits internet display. Yes. If yes, the property address displayed. Yes. Another thing is, will you have a lockbox? Meaning, is the residence vacant? Are the homeowners still living there? Are they absentee owners? Will you be able to provide unlimited access for just a go and show? Meaning that you don't have to be at the property for agents, right? You can just let people go in. So you decide if you want to do a lockbox or not. I would say yes. Always do a lockbox because you're not always going to be around and be able to run to the property at the drop of a hat when someone wants to go see it. It makes your life so much easier just to put on a lockbox. Okay. So now we're going to get down to our part, which is establishing a commission. So commission is a conversation. Here, I'm going to put my camera on real fast because I want to really drive this one home for you guys. Oops, wrong button. How do I do that? Oh, here it is. So, so when you go to a listing agreement, right? I mean, listing presentation, most people bring this huge packet with them that has all these papers, all of these statistics, all of this marketing information on how they're going to market your home, how they promise they're going to do this for your home, they promise they're going to do that for your home. For me personally, I have yet to use a listing presentation. I go into listings and I'm looking for a way to help the seller. Not looking for a way to help myself because all that marketing and all that stuff has my name on it. So that's helping me, right? I'm looking for a way to help my seller get what they want. My seller wants to sell their house. My seller wants to move within the next 30 days. How can I help my seller achieve that goal? So I'm listening to my seller and I'm going to ask appropriate questions in order to get those answers from the seller. One of those questions that usually pops up from the seller is commission. Commission is a big conversation, but there's ways to work with commission. So when I go to a listing agreement, they always ask me, well, what do you charge for commission? Now, as real estate agents, we can charge absolutely whatever number you can think of for commission, believe it or not. If you wanted to charge 10% commission, you totally can. If you want to charge 15% commission, you totally can. There is no rules that says we are subjected to a certain amount for commission. We can charge whatever we want. But the thing is, are you going to get it? More than likely, no. So the industry standard is about 6%, right? And that's a split between yourself and the buyer's agent. So that split can be 50-50. That split could be 60-40. That split could be 70-30, right? It could be whatever, however you structure the split. Typically, I would say your split would be about, if you do a 6%, you would at least offer the buyer's agent at least 2.5%, right? To 2%. This gives you 3.5% to 4% commission for yourself, minus what you have to give to the office for your dues and things like that. So when I ask about commission, I always say, well, I charge 6% commission. And I always say, well, I can tell you why. 6% commission, make sure, and the commission that I give, about 2.5% to 3%, make sure that I'm dealing with top-notch agents that are going to bring in a buyer that's ready, willing, and able to get a quick close and everything that I'm asking for. If I charge the lower commission, I'm going to get everybody coming in here from all woodworks of life just to figure out how they're going to work in this space, work in this situation. The more commission I give, the more buyers I have. Right? That's how you should be looking at it. If I give out only 1.5% or a 2% commission, agents are going to look at it and go, they don't have to really see that one. That's only 2%, right? Because you have a lot of agents that are money driven. Not all of us are just here for the education purposes and, you know, changing our lives and things like that. You have agents who've been doing this a long time and they just see dollars. So you want to appeal to as many agents as you possibly can, which is why you would do at least a 2.5% to 3% split on your commissions. But again, that's completely up to you, and you have the power when it comes to setting your commission rates. Everyone got that?
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions about that?
No.
No? Good. Okay. So the thing about also commission that you want to mention to your seller is when you're working your commission, right? You want to ask the seller, well, how much are you looking to net, right? How much do you want to walk away with from this transaction? And they can say to you, let's say the house is 350 and they owe 150,000. So that's $200,000 that they have possibly coming to them. They say to you, oh, well, you know, I want to at least net at least $150,000. And you say, that's perfect. I can totally do that for you. Actually, I could probably net you more than that, because that 150 is, they know, is minus the commission, is minus any repairs, it's minus anything that they would have to do, anything that would come up, it's minus their lawyer fees, and things like that. So that's a good number. Now, if you say, let's say there's only 200,000 equity left, and your seller says, well, I want to net the 200,000, then you would explain to them, well, that's not possible because we have to pay X, Y, Z, and you go down the list, right? You don't necessarily tell them your commission number, right? Because that's a tough pill to swallow. You tell someone that they have to pay you $15,000 to $20,000 to sell their house, right? So what the way you want to work that into would be to focus on their net number. So do your math, right? And then give them that net number. This is how much you would net after all expenses are paid, right? We don't want to just throw out the number and write it in a big sign and have it sitting there in front of them for them to replay and, go through their minds. Go ahead.
What other costs are they considering as a seller, apart from your commission, apart from our commission?
Right.
What other costs are they incurring? One would be attorney review, so a lawyer that they have, right?
Right.
You're not incurring any costs on inspections and appraisal because that's the buyer side.
Right. The other costs they might incur would be from the home inspection, right? What is the home inspection going to reveal? What if they had to what if they found a really huge latent defect in their house? What if they needed termite inspection? What if they needed their water lines appraised? What if they needed a new fuse box? There's tons of different things that they could use that they would need extra money for. So with those things, right, we can negotiate it two ways, where let's say that the home inspection comes back and there's a ton of things that the seller didn't even know that they needed repaired in the house, right? And the buyer says, okay, if you just do these 7 things, right, we'll call it even and I'll take the house. And the seller can say, well, what if I gave you a credit for those things? Credit meaning it would come out of the sale, it would come out of the purchase price, not out of the seller's pocket. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, that makes sense. Just part of negotiations. I would
right. That would be right. That would be a part of the negotiations during attorney review, because you'll be in attorney review after the home inspection, and that's when those repair negotiations would start to come up. So
attorney review is before home inspection, no?
Right, but it's going to happen around this. It's going to happen at the same time. Like, you're going to be in attorney review. Home inspection is also going to happen around that same time, because you have to negotiate. You can't leave attorney review until everything is negotiated about the house.
I see.
So home inspection is the first thing that's done. Attorney review starts around the same time. It's all within that same week, that same time frame, right? Attorney review is 7 days. So during those 7 days, we're still getting negotiating. We're still getting contracts in. We're still trying to figure out things. We're trying to work things out to make the deal go smoother. We're trying to help everything out. We're trying to get everyone's details and everything that they want to do ready to go for them. Yes, Yinka, go ahead.
I thought attorney review is 3 days.
No, 3 days is for the documents to sit.
to sit. So
So during, so attorney,
after 3 days, what
So-
happened?
so right, so so the 3 days that you're thinking of are for the closing documents. They have to sit for 3 days without anything going on. Those are 3 extra days. That's aside from attorney review. Attorney review ends, and then those 3 days begin when the title company starts the closing process. So that's at the end of attorney review, those 3 days.
From my understanding, isn't inspection started after attorney review conclusion?
Yes, that's
started-
what I.
No. Inspections are started during attorney review. They're all started at the same time. Everything is kind of hand in hand. So the inspection isn't after attorney review. Inspection is still during attorney review because we're going to have to negotiate on what the home inspection talks about, right? It's also at the same time as appraisal. So you'll have appraisal start, you'll have home inspection start, attorney review starts once I give my documents to the attorney and we start going through negotiations, right? So you'll have it so that all those things are going simultaneously, where you'll have the appraisal coming Tuesday, the home inspectors coming Wednesday, and then we're going to do negotiations for the remainder of the week on what the home inspector shows once his report comes in. So then that goes into the following week, and we should be at a attorney review by probably that following Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, so let me bring up a situation here that I'm currently in, which is why I'm drilling a little bit into this. So
Go ahead.
we have submitted an offer, right? From the listing agent, the guidelines of submitting the offer says that our offer will be accepted based on whoever can offer conclusion of inspections within 7 days after attorney review.
So
They want inspections within 7 days after the conclusion of an attorney review. And that's what my understanding was as well, that after as soon as the offer is accepted, we go into attorney review, which goes on for 3 to 7 days. And then we get into inspection, which we come back from. Whatever negotiations need to be happening at that time will happen. And then we'll go into appraisal, then we'll go into finance, and then we'll go into closing.
So that sounds, after attorney review. So I've never run into a situation where someone asked for that particularly. Usually it's just done, right? It's just done on the time frame, just help us close faster. It just sounds like they're trying to get out of negotiating something that could possibly come up in a home inspection that they don't want to deal with during attorney review. So it just sounds like they're trying to push something off until the later end of it, so that by that time you're already so deep into the transaction that you don't back out. That's what that sounds like to me. I could be wrong, but that's exactly what that sounds like. Because any buyer's agent any listing agent is looking for a quick close. We're looking for fast closes. We're not looking to prolong this process. I want you to schedule your home inspection as fast as possible. I want the appraisal scheduled as fast as possible. I want to get out of attorney review as quick as we can. I want everything negotiated and everything right on the table with the home inspection report, so we know what repairs and things like that we can do. All this should only take, like I said, I close in 4 weeks. That's it. I've rarely gone past a 4-week closing, but it's only ever taken me 4 weeks to close. Every week there's something. So first week we go into home inspection gets scheduled. This is from buy side and listing side. So home inspection gets scheduled right away. Once you get your offer accepted, you automatically let your mortgage company know, and they're gonna start the process on approving your mortgage, and that's gonna also lead them to schedule the appraisal, which is also going to be done within that same week, if not the next week. The following week, we're going to be in attorney review, and we're going to be talking about everything that just happened the past week, and we're going to start working towards close. The third week, the title company takes over. They start doing their thing and getting all the documents ready to be closed. By the 4th week, I have a closing date. I'm probably closing on that Friday of that 4th week. That's how the process should go normally. but you do have hiccups. But like I said, I'm not too familiar with the process of, I don't know the whole story of what you're dealing with as far as the listing goes. But it just sounds like something that's trying to be kind
Let
of,
me schedule a one-on-one with you for later
yes.
this week, and then we
Okay.
can.
Okay, just send me a text and we'll go through that. Okay, so let's get back to this real fast. Okay, so after we do that, we're gonna put in our commission. So we're gonna put six. Where's my percentage sign? 6% right there, right? And this is for a rental. This is for a lease renewal. We don't need those. We just need sale commission, right? Then we're gonna go to broker protection. The above commission shall also apply if the property is placed under contract or sale or lease within a certain amount. This is a sold within months. We don't need this. That's just extra commission, right? That's if we don't do that. That's extra. If you like, oh, I sold your house in 10 days. Give me more money. That's what that sounds like, right? So the commission split. Well, hold on, wrong one. Down here, commission split. So I want to give the buyer's agent 2.5%. Now you always see when you go on to MLS, you see this minus, right? And you see them always say minus 200, minus 300, minus 250. Now these plus or minuses are just a way to get the one up, right? So you don't necessarily have to do a plus or minus. You can do $0, but typically it's about $100. I only do $100 ever. I've never done any more than that because you're already making more in the commission side anyway. But being that seems like an industry standard, I just do it anyway, right? Because I'm not even sure of the full reason on why it's done that way. I have no idea. I would love to find out, which I'm probably going to find out because I'm thinking about it now. So moving forward, once we have our commissions and everything in place, and we have all our information put in here, and we're going to go down here. Now, these are for, right, you intend to work with owners as a seller's agent. Well, no, seller's agent and disclose dual agency agent if the opportunity arises. Always click that button. Because if the opportunity arises that you can get dual agency and it's not on here, you don't get it. And you can't get dual agency, even if the opportunity arises, because you didn't push this button. So make sure you always do that, because what if you're at an open house and a buyer walks in and he doesn't have an agent and he goes, I would love for you to represent me, right? You want that buyer. You want to get dual agency. That means you don't have to do any of this. You don't have to give the split. This money goes all to you. You get the full commission. You get full 6% commission off of that. So always make sure you hit this button on everything that you see that has agent and disclose dual agency. If the opportunity arises, always click that one.
How would you fight a objection here in terms of your seller saying that, oh, then how would you maintain the best interests of the buyers and seller side if you are doing a dual agency, right? If you're representing both parties, that gives away some leverage on negotiations on both behalf, doesn't it?
No, because your fiduciary responsibility are to both your clients. So you have to make sure both of them get what they want in the end. So it's not a thing of taking one side over the other, or kind of working as like an infiltrator or something like that. This is more, gives you more leverage where you're able to say to your buyer, hey, I think the sellers would be willing to negotiate on a lower price, right? If they say that to you, right? But it's not like you're giving away information. Like, you can't explain numbers, right? I can't tell you that my sellers want $350,000 for their house. But what I can tell you is that I think you should come up a little bit in your offer, and I think it'll get accepted.
Lawrence,
Go ahead.
Lawrence, I thought you need the consent of the seller before you can click dual agency.
Yes,
Right.
and this is all done in the other documents. Now, this is just me doing it for for the sake. Now, this is what you're going to give them as well. This is before you get them to sign anything. This is just you putting the documents together. So we don't have permission yet. If we didn't, then we can always come back and do that, right? It's simple. It's a simple fix. But the thing about it is, do it first, then ask. Because if you don't do it, then you have to come back here and do all this all over again. So it's better to be done first and foremost. This way, when you're presenting the documents, you can say to them, because like I said, here, hold on, save and close. Because here, you also have your dual agency document, right? Which is right here, informed consent to dual agency. And this is what you're going to give them. And this is what they're either going to agree or disagree to. So if they don't agree to sign this, right, this consent to dual agency, this discloses that an agent, as a disclosed dual agent of both the seller and buyer, seller's agent will be working equally for both parties. If they don't want that to happen, then they won't sign this, right? It's very simple. They just don't have to sign this. If they don't agree to it, okay, if you don't think, you know, that's in the best interest of you, fine, don't sign this. And then I'll come back and I'll redo this. And I'll go back on this. And I'll send them another one. It's a simple fix. And I'll go back on this. And I'll click this. And I'll save and close it. And I'll send it to them all over again. Because you're not going to print any of these out and give it to them. These are all going to be digitally signed, which is what I'm going to show you. So let's get through this. We're running a little late on time. So, so you're going to click the agents that you're working with. Sub-agents are agents that work for like almost like a referral agent, right? Buyers brokers are regular agents, and transaction brokers are people that just do just the transaction. Like they usually get a lower, these two always get like lower percentage commissions than a buyer's broker. So these would get like 1% or something like that. I forget what the true number is, but I don't even go after sub-agents and trans brokers. Most people don't. They just go for buyer's brokers. I don't even think, and most people have done transactions with a transaction broker or a sub-agent. So most people just put commission for the buyer's broker. And then here you would put no cooperation and no cooperation. And only because of the simple fact of, like I said, most people don't work with transaction brokers and sub-agents. I don't know anyone that ever has done a deal with either one. So then we're going to put our compensation here, which is 2.5%. Oops. 2.5%. And then you hit minus 100. Right? And that's what you're paying. That's your commission to your buyers. Okay. Now, these are talking about owner will pay percentage points toward the lending institution mortgage placement fees. No, they are not. Most owners will not pay any percentage points towards any buyer's mortgage ever, unless it's in the seller's best interest. And most of the time it's not. So we don't have to worry about that part. So these are for any addendums, anything you need to attach, such as like anything that needs to be changed. Like if you have like an as-is addendum, you can get that signed and that would be attached, and you would just put, you know, whatever you have attached here, the number of attachments you have and all that stuff. Usually, typically, we don't use this stuff either. The other addendum would be for, you know, what's included, you know, what is this? Is this a residential? Is this a condo, townhouse, co-op, 2 to 4 family, whatever it is. So this is going to be a residential. Items included, everything, the stove, the microwave, the dishwasher, the washer, the dryer, the refrigerator, and the freezer. Everything's included. Items excluded would be seller's personal property, right? Those are the items that are excluded, are the seller's personal property, whatever they want to keep, that's themselves, beside the appliances. So then we would get this, we would send this to ourselves and get this signed by us and dated. It also gets signed by our brokerage once you send it into the office, and you get your sellers to sign with their mailing address and phone numbers here as well. Now, this down here is talking about the law of against discrimination, meaning that you are not allowed to discriminate against any protected classes. Pretty sure you all remember the protected classes from school, right? That was a fun segment. So, oh, sorry. Wife's calling me. I'll call her right back. So that's for race, religion, national origin, nationality, ancestry, pregnancy, breastfeeding, sex, gender, identity, sexual orientation, familial status, things like that. You are not allowed to discriminate against, and this is actually for your sellers to read over, so that they know that there are penalties, right? If they discriminate, if someone complains to the housing, to the Fair Housing Commission, that they were discriminated against by a seller for any of those reasons. So this is a good thing that you need to go over with them and make sure they fully understand before you before you get them to sign any of the contracts. So, for example, I know someone that dealt with the seller, and the seller said to them, I don't mind selling my house just as long as we don't get any Mexicans in here. And that agent had to dismiss themselves from the transaction because that was a discriminatory statement, and it led them to believe that this was going to be a discrimination transaction, right? Where they were going to be discriminating against people that were coming in based off their ethnicity and their country of origin. So they had to dismiss themselves from the transaction, which is something you would have to do as well if you see anything that would lead you to believe that someone could be discriminatory against a buyer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So we went through. So like I said before, this is your consent to dual agency. And this just means that you're going to be representing the buyer and the seller if the opportunity arises. Now, this doesn't mean that you're just going to go out and automatically get dual agency. This just means if the opportunity arises, as it always says, the opportunity arises, then you could get dual agency. So you always want to make sure your sellers understand this and they sign this as well. If they don't agree to it, then that's fine. They don't have to sign this. You would just redo the listing agreement to say that you're just acting as the seller's agent, and that's it. Problem solved. So we'll save and close that. Oh, maybe I should do one at a time then, because it takes a while. Then you're going to do your property disclosure. Now this one, you're going to print out and give to your seller. And I'm going to tell you why. This thing is extremely long, number one. Number two, it asks them every single last question they could think about when it comes to their home. Everything from, land and soil, environmental hazards, deer restrictions, special designations, anything miscellaneous they could think of. Radon gas, have they ever had radon, have they ever been radon tested? How are their major appliances performing? It asks them everything you could possibly think of about a home. So this one you're going to print out and give to them personally, and you're going to let them start filling this out while you're getting the rest of the paperwork first. So this paper here, I always bring with me to listing presentations. It's probably the only one that I do actually bring with me, would be this, because it's the only one they need a physical form of in order to go over. The other documents I typically bring with me as well, just to show them and to just talk about it and to go through the motions and explain to them everything they're going to be signing, everything that they should look forward to, and things like that. And then we get that all situated once they understand each and every document that I'm putting in front of them. So that's a good thing to do as well, is to print them out, bring them with you on your listing presentation. Don't use them to sign them. because you're going to send them digitally, which helps you keep track of all your files and all your paperwork a lot better than you would if you were to get them to sign right then and there. So this is the only copy you should be leaving with them would be the seller's disclosure, because it's going to take them a few days to finish this, as you can probably imagine, right? Does that make sense? Everyone good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So once we have our seller's disclosure taken care of, and we might need a lead paint disclosure. Let's say the house is built before 1968. So therefore you would need a 78, sorry. Therefore you need a lead paint disclosure. And again, this is another one you can leave with them. It's just going to ask them questions and things like that. Like, what are they? This can go also with the seller's disclosure, because it's another thing to ask them questions about the house. You know, are they aware of any presence of lead-based paint? Have they been tested for lead-based paint? Are there any records and reports available to the seller that they can showcase that they don't have lead-based paint? Things like that. So you want to leave this with them as well. Okay. Okay. Then we're going to get into our CIS. A CIS form you need with all transactions. So whether it be a listing, a buyer, or rental, everyone needs to have conformed consumer information statement. They need to have that. It's a priority. It's a requirement. We have to do it at every time. Now, this form just establishes your, whatever that is. Cool. So this form is just to establish your business relationship, your real estate relationship, right? This is just to say, okay, am I working as the buyer's agent? Am I going to be the seller's agent? Am I a disclosed dual agent if the opportunity arises? And you know what? You are. So you would go down here, the declaration of my business relationship, and you're going to hit, which button should I hit? Anyone?
Third one, the third
This one?
one, seller's agent and disclosed to, yeah.
Absolutely. Every time. Now, if I was working as a buyer's agent, which button should I hit?
Right below that.
Right below that. Absolutely. And the reason for that is, let's say you are a buyer's agent, right? And you go to show a house, and the person that's there says to you, I just dropped my agent. I don't have anyone I'm working with right now. Would you list my house for me? And your buyer says to you, well, I actually want to put an offer in on this house. Guess who just became a disclosed dual agent? And you didn't even do anything. All you did was walk in, right? So that's how these things typically happen. Right, in a perfect world, right? Absolutely. And that's how these things will typically happen to you. For a seller's agent point, the same thing, where you're doing an open house, a buyer walks in that doesn't have an agent, and they say, I'd like to put in an offer with you. What do? You put that offer in as the buyer's agent, but you already have this form signed. So your seller knows that if the opportunity arises, you will be a disclosed dual agent. It's already written. They already signed it. You're already good to go. Now, like I said, in the event that they don't want to sign this and they don't agree to you being a disclosed dual agent, then you would just hit seller's agent or buyer's agent only. And if the opportunity arises, there's nothing you could do about it besides refer that person to another agent. Hopefully it's someone in our office that you guys would think of, right? That would make the most sense. So if I had a buyer and I walked into the same situation and I didn't have a disclosed dual agency, I would then have to reach out to one of our agents and say, hey, could you list this house for this person? And off of that referral, I would still get a referral. I would get a referral fee off of that. So you can still make some type of money out of the situation. You just won't get the full commission, right? So we'll save and continue. So now, once we have all our documents ready to go and ready to be emailed and signed, we're going to do this. We're going to check all of them. And we're going to go up here to our toolbar, right? Where we have copy, move, email, print, combine, create envelope, archive, and delete. So we want to create an envelope. As you can see, the pen here means for a signature. So we're going to create an envelope with those documents. Now, who is this document for? This is going to be for me, the listing agent, and it's also going to be for the seller, right? Now, depending on which boxes you have these sellers in, this is what that means. So there's usually 4 boxes on a seller agreement or an offer, but it doesn't matter. Just always put seller 1 or seller 2. It'll pop up. It doesn't matter. Hit continue. It's going to take a second because it's 5 documents and trying to load into this envelope at once. And boom, here we are. Here's our documents that we just went over and did. We can view them again, but we don't need to. We're going to scroll down here and make sure that all our information is good. So I'm the listing agent. I'm also the seller, but I couldn't do that. But oh, look at me. So make sure your contact information is all good here. And then we're going to scroll down and we're going to go to next. Now, each one of these forms is going to pop up where I can still add a text. I can still, do what I want. I can still edit them basically. But all in all, what I'm looking to do is this, right? I want to make sure all of this is here for my person to sign. So if you go over here, right, this would be me as the listing agent, and this would be my seller, right? The blue, right? The yellow would be me, and the blue would be my agent. Now, DocuSign updated their systems a little while ago. See, before, you used to have to go in. I used to sit there forever doing this. You used to have to go in and individually do this for the whole page. And I want to show you how many times you would have to do that. So this is for the seller's disclosure. I meant to take that out because we don't actually need that document here. But we'll leave it here for now anyway, because it's already there, but whatever. So also what you can do in here is you would be able to fill this out too, but it takes forever. It's so much longer to do it on here than it is just with a pen and paper. So print this out, make sure you give it to them. So we're going to scroll to, we're going to go down to this document. Wait, get that out of here. So we're going to scroll down here. No, that's the lead paint. CIS, here we go. So in the CIS form, you're going to see here that it's ready for my seller to sign. It's ready to be dated. This is our listing agreement, right? It has all my stuff. This also helps you to go back over it and make sure you did everything. Look, see, I missed out. That should be this. Oops, get rid of that. That should be this. It's not letting me do it. Okay, there we go. So it helps you go back and edit it real fast. Like I said, then you make sure that all this is dated, all this is ready to go. Any information you want to put in for your seller already, like their mailing address or their phone number, you can automatically do that as well. But all in all, you just want to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be, right? Everything is good to go, ready to be signed. See, you want to make sure everything has one of these on it. Even though DocuSign does it for you automatically, just double check because you never know. You'll get it and somebody will say, oh, well, I didn't get this document to sign. I didn't get that document to sign, when you could have simply just sent it to them and not had any issues at all. So you're going to do all that, and then you're going to be good to go. You're going to send, which I'm not going to send because that's a lot of documents to sign right now. But once you send it, it'll come back to, hold on, let me get out of here. So once you send it and everything gets signed, here, I'll go to another one of my rooms. I'll show you what that looks like. Once you get everything signed, here, we'll go to this one. Then, once you go in your document, you'll see this. See, it says signed, signed. Oop. You'll start getting the greens where they all say signed, and then you're good to go. Then what you're going to do is once you get the signed ones, right, you're going to take them, well, right, you have all these signed ones, right? Then you're going to go back to command, right? And you're going to go over under whatever opportunity that was. You're going to go to DocuSign. You're going to go to Room Docs, and you're going to go down and you're going to add. Well, I can't do it because there's nothing to add. There's nothing signed. So you're going to add the MLS, but there's nothing there. You're going to add the listing agreement, but like I said, there's nothing there, but everything pops up for you here once you start going down the list, because it's going to take everything from your DocuSign room and it's going to bring it right over here for you and put everything right down here. So you're able to just put everything here, and then you're going to hit submit to MC. And this is going to submit all your documents to the Market Center. Cool? Everyone got that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, I think we did really good today. Does anyone have any questions?
No, that was good.
No questions? That was good?
No.
Okay, so next time we're gonna go over the buyer situation, and then we'll do rentals as well. And we'll move forward. Everyone, make sure you send me a text so we can schedule some one-on-one coaching time, and I can help you specifically with your individual problems with your business. If you are having any, I can help you get off the ground, and we can start and work together. So send me a text today. I am free for a little bit today. I'm free probably up until about, I have to go out for a minute. I'll be free after 1:30. If you guys want to send me a text and we can come back on here and, do some work if you guys want to. Sound like a plan?
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
you again. Thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope you learned something. I hope this was valuable information for you, and I look forward to our next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Don't
No
forget
problem.
to stop recording.
I know, that's why I had to say that last.